I'm going to show how to do the weaving each piece at a time so that you'll be able to follow along with me. The basic idea of weaving is that you're going to go over, under, over, under, over, under. So here I've got my piece of paper with the holes in it, and that's going vertical. And then I'm going to take one of my strips of long paper and weave it into it going over and under. So for the first part here, here's the first piece, and the paper is going to go over that piece. Then I'm going to lift up my second piece here, the second part of the paper, and I'm going to put my horizontal piece of paper under that piece. So see, it's going underneath that one. Then the next piece, it goes over. The fourth piece, it goes under. So I have to lift it up again and slide it underneath. The fifth piece, it's going over, so I leave that down and I let my paper strip go over it. Then the last piece, it goes under, so I have to lift it up again and slide it underneath. Alright, so I'm going to review what just happened. This piece of paper is now woven into this one, and I first went over. Then I lifted the paper, went under, over, under, over, and under. So it's going in between the pieces of paper. When I've got this first piece woven into it, I'm going to slide it down so that it's all the way on the bottom. Now I've got all this space up here in which to weave my next pieces. So I take another piece, and this time I have to do it the opposite way. I have to weave it going under, over, under, over, under, over, instead of over, under, over, under, over, under. And the reason why is because if I weave it going the same way as I did this piece, it will fall down on top of it. So I'm going to do an example to show you what I mean here. So here, if I just put it in the same way that I did the other one, now it slides down, and hey, it's not weaving properly. It's not staying where I want it to stay. So let's start the opposite way. So if this one went over the blue paper, now I have to start by going under the blue paper. So this time I lift up my first piece and I slide my long strip of paper under. So now that I've got it started, I just continue going. So here I am, it went under, now it's over the next piece, under the third piece, over the fourth piece, under the fifth piece, and over the sixth piece. This time, when I slide the strip of paper down, it will not fall down on top of it. Instead, you can see that it's starting to make a checkerboard pattern. Alright, are you ready for strip number 3? Here we go. So this time it's going to look more like the first one. If this is over and this one went under the blue paper, then the next one starts by going over. So I start over, under, over, under, over, and under. Okay, now that I have it woven in, I have a little space here, so I'm going to slide it down, and you'll know if you did it correct if you can see that it's going in a pattern this way and going in a pattern this way. Okay, now there's some more room up here, so you'll have to fill up these spaces until you can't fit any more strips of paper in. And I've got 2 more strips of paper for mine, so that's about how much is going to fit in mine. Okay, remember that you have to look and see how you started this one to know how to start the next one. So if I started this one by going over, I have to start the next one by going under. Under, over, under, over, under, and over. Slide it down, and I'll fit my last one in. This one started off as under the paper, so I'm going to start by going over. Over, under, over, under, over, and under. Okay, now I've got the woven part of my art done. I can trim up the sides. If I have some extra pieces on the side and I don't want them there, I can take my scissors and trim them off. The pieces should stay in place because the weaving will tend to keep it in place. Okay, and if you are finished with your weaving and you have some extra time, then you can use some pencils or markers or crayons, and you can add some decorations to your weaving however you would like to add them. One more thing that I want to remind everybody of before you take this with you today is to write your name on your art. So choose somewhere on your art to write your name. Alright, do you guys remember how to weave with your paper? And do you remember what the warp in weaving is and the weft in weaving is? I'll remind you, the warp of the weaving is the part that goes up and down and stays still, and the weft of the weaving is the part that it goes up and down and over the pieces, and that's also the part that's horizontal.